or your significant other can't be like throwing that in your face though. Like
no.
Every time, like just because I ain't take out your trash, you can't say with your broke ass.
No,
oh my gosh, that can't be a thing.
I hit a rough spot. I'm in between opportunities right
now.
Where was that from?
Oh man,
that was
like you
that's the intro. I'm in between opportunities right now.
You can't throw that on me like that. Like if you just happen, I might be a tradesman.
Just because you met me broke don't mean I've been broke my whole life.
Yeah, like. So.
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
It's Juxtaposition.Pod.
Tales from the Hood. Oh my God, how you don't know that? That was Hakeem from Moesha when he was. Remember he was in
Just
television.
because you're the black film aficionado,
definitely is,
all
though.
things.
How you don't know that?
I knew
He was
black
on the
cinema,
table.
so
I don't give a.
Everybody
Zone
don't know
knows
this.
all black cinema.
Zone
all black
Word.
cinema.
That's
He's light skinned, but
He
he's
stay
still
black.
That's a fact. Do I get to like actually freestyle that today?
I mean, if you want to.
Nah.
If you want to.
I got a little up.
Oh, okay, good.
So, welcome to the Juxtaposition Podcast, episode 39. Episode 39, aka the Extraordinary Nobodies, aka the Starting Five, aka the Five Heartbeats, aka Four Heartbeats and Impossible. I'm your host, Arsenio Hall. Hey, I love the love. To my right, we have Pulpit Poppy in the building.
Oh man, it feels so good to be here. Hallelujah.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
I messed up on purpose. I didn't know you was going to catch it.
Hey, let's see if you catch it this time,
Okay.
though. Var, God is good.
This wine is too.
Oh my God.
All the time?
Thank you. And all the time.
God is good.
We still working on him.
We working on Var. He gonna get with it.
But he turned water to wine.
He did turn water to
And this
wine.
wine
But that's not in the phrase though.
What's the
Right.
phrase that pays?
It's the phrase that pays.
Power 99.
Power
I
99.
don't know about no Power 99.
Don Juan Banks, what you know about Don Juan, boy?
You don't remember Carter and Sanborn?
Do you remember Horus the Taurus?
No,
You don't remember Horus the Taurus horoscopes?
I do not.
Pisces, a little bit of Pisces, last but not least.
Oh my God. What?
Bro,
This is that Philly, South Jersey stuff I ain't.
Horus the Taurus horoscope. Yo,
That's-
Google it.
that's
Classic Philly.
Right ahead of me, we got Chef in the building.
My
Straight
man.
from the
Yes, sir.
DMV.
What's up, bro?
Cook it up.
We cool. Chilling, man. Happy to be here. It's a new experience for 39. I like the vibe right now.
Right,
Let me
39.
get comfortable, man.
Hey.
You know, gotta be
Mask
prepared,
off.
man,
Talk
you
about
know.
it.
Word up.
But
Time on.
happy to be here, man. How y'all feeling?
Feeling
good,
good.
man.
Feeling good.
Feeling great, man.
Yeah, man.
Good to see y'all in the flesh.
I know.
Seriously.
It's so different. It's like
First time.
looking. I don't gotta look at the squares.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like
left and
it's
right.
different. I'm trying to
Right.
get used to it, actually.
And I don't got a mute to go yell at my kids because they're too loud.
Right.
To the right of Chef, we got our engineer, man in the corner, holding it down with the notepad
My
and
man.
the computer
Strategy.
and the amp. AJ say what's good.
Good, everybody.
There you go. There you go.
Juanito.
Gonna give not the total Mexican. And then we got CEO rounding this out. What's good, bro?
Was good.
I don't know, man. It just feels good, man. Like
Feels great.
It's like natural, right?
seeing y'all
Mhm.
is natural, right? I come home every 6 months. Seeing y'all is always great, but seeing y'all with the podcast thing is like it's different.
It's completely different.
Yeah,
Like-
it's a new growth for us.
It
It's
is.
a new platform for us to kind of like be our natural selves and do what we do.
Absolutely.
And connect,
Right.
and I loved it. I love the idea. I love that we're here.
And since we are
Milestone episode.
four good men, four great men. Today's episode we're going to be talking about what is a good man.
What is it?
What is a good man? So all y'all ladies that got lists, burn them shits now. We're talking about all of that.
Rip it up.
Just throw them in the trash. But before we get there, so I got to talk about the question of the week. Question of the week for you fellas is: can you be friends with an ex-girlfriend?
Not really.
Can you be friends with an ex-girlfriend?
Define friend.
Friend.
Like somebody you communicate with, check up on.
Can
see
hit
how
you
they're doing.
in a time of
Can hit
emergency.
you
No.
No.
Not while I'm married.
Okay.
You can be if you single or dating.
Okay. Can you be? Okay. Let's draw a line in the sand.
Mhm.
I want all y'all to answer. Can you be friends with an ex? Yes or no?
No.
I'm gonna say. I mean, I know you're drawing a line,
Right.
but I'm gonna say. For me, I don't see the problem with that, but it depends more on the communication and the relationship you have with your wife. We're talking about being a married
Mhm,
person,
mhm.
right? If you know, that'd be something that you and your wife have to discuss first. I don't see a problem with it. You know, I think not all old relationships ended on a negative note. This was just bad timing, or it just, growth. Sometimes people just outgrow each other. You know what I'm saying? So I think, if you as a man and maybe you have saving grace relationship with your ex because of just something that crazy happened, you got to make sure your wife is 100% comfortable with that.
Right. So you say
what a yes or no answer.
No, so what you're saying
I get what he's saying.
You're saying yes, but
I'm saying yes
it's
as a
possible.
condition. I'm not gonna say because yes, but she's wanting you and there's some type of intimacy type of vibe going on, and no, obviously, you know what I'm saying.
Right. If she got some hanky panky,
if she's a floozy, basically.
Yeah, right.
That's why the condition is your wife has to be the most comfortable person, knowing, being most informed first about.
That's a good. That's I like that. So your wife has to be the bridge. Okay, great. What do you say? So no.
I think unless if you can if you never had sex with them.
It's not an ex.
Why not?
Why is it
you
not
can
ex?
date people and just make
In 8th grade.
Never made it.
Stop it.
I had
Never had intercourse.
You tell me a girlfriend that you've had that you didn't beat.
I had one.
I'm sorry.
We're just saying
sexual
it can happen.
intercourse with, not beat.
I had a girlfriend that I did not have sexual intercourse with.
How old were you? I'm not shaming you.
16, 17.
Okay, that
high
don't
school.
count.
But I was fucking then.
But that don't count. High school relationships also don't count.
They count for me because I was fucking. So that was an anomaly that I wasn't. That I didn't.
Well, you was off your game. Maybe you wasn't desirable.
Not for 2 years. I don't know. Well, she had
Did you hit
never.
your growth spurt yet?
No,
All
but
right,
she
then.
had not. She had not crossed that boundary either.
She
so.
she had her V card.
Yes,
She was a-
I didn't. So it was kind of like,
So that don't count.
why wouldn't it count though? It's still
Because
an ex.
y'all are 16. Like you are a baby. You are a grown man.
Sex
You're a man.
does make everything different, yo.
It does.
Throws a
It
wrench in
makes
all
everything
systems.
different, because sex is just, and I think that's the problem with an ex. Like, if you imagine like your significant other having an ex around and them having been intimate with your significant other, it's like I don't want that reminder. Like, I don't want you around like giving those hugs. Like we was
Like
talking
Drake
about that
said.
Drake.
No,
lyric. We know what those hugs
my,
mean.
my thing is, you know what I hate?
I feel you that.
I hate
I
the.
respect that.
I don't want a guy that has sex with my wife or my girlfriend to hit me with the "you got a good girl, yo."
That's like-
no, bro.
Wasn't we talking about the that
Yo.
meme? Remember I told you on the phone? I'm like, nah, you
It's
just
you hit it with the
instant
yo,
smack.
It's
I
the
get
yo
that.
and the
Y'all
pause.
brought some
It's like the
interesting
yo. You got a good girl, yo. So my man, clearly, I know.
Right.
I know.
No, you know what?
That's
I'm
how you
saying
get
this.
stole.
That's a great point that you made, Cleveland. Because sex does change a lot,
Changes
right?
everything.
I just think that like in real time though, with the most your lifetime partner is going to go through the thick and thin with you in my mind. So it's just you better off asking and bringing that up to her first.
I like that approach.
Let her.
Don't
like
eliminate it.
Yeah.
But can I ask y'all a
Let her
question?
tell you no.
But why go
Yeah.
through? What is the purpose? What purpose does that person serve?
Have you ever had a friend? Okay, have you ever been intimate with a person who you actually just really vibe with, but y'all just don't pursue relationships?
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had
But they
chemistry?
never been my girlfriend.
But no, I'm getting there. Have you ever had chemistry with a woman who is not your wife or your girlfriend? Like really great chemistry.
On a communication level and creativity level, maybe, and just like tapping into, because you got to think about it.
Tapping into
No,
it.
no,
yup.
no, no. Just
Mhm.
answer the question. I'm gonna bring it around.
I love my wife without one
For
doubt,
sure,
right?
you know.
But she can't satisfy me 100%.
She can't fill your cup
She can't do
100%,
that.
and it's
She can't
impossible
do
to
that.
think that any person can do
Yeah,
that.
I can't. I'll be wrong to give her that
100%.
responsibility, you feel me? So, I mean, she would have to always be comfortable with anything that I do moving forward in life. But my thing I'm trying to make is that, like, just as much as I get inspired by having conversations with you, I may get inspired with another person that's just the opposite sex that may have been experienced at a younger age where I wasn't ready and I didn't know where I was at and who I was at that particular time. And she happened to cross that path at that time, and we might have just built a cool relationship on a friend level. You know what I'm saying? And I moved on, and she moved on, and I got married, and she probably got married.
Right.
We can't be friends ever again. I
I feel all of that, but at the end of the day,
You could be acquaintances.
you know
Not friends.
what it
At
is
11:59,
feels like
59.
to be intimate with this woman, right? You know that. Like that's
It's
the
in
whole
the
thing.
back of your
You know how
mind.
people say like soul ties. Like what a soul is, that's your mind, your will, and emotions. And
When you have sex with someone, you remember it, right?
You
You want if it's
Spank
if it's
bank.
good, you want more of it, right?
Okay.
And then there's always some kind of emotional attachment, even if it's not strong in the beginning. Like there's always some kind of emotional attachment.
So you were not friends with anybody you've had sex with?
I'm not saying we weren't friends. I'm saying I can't be friends with them now.
No, you okay. So here's what I'm trying to get to. Here's what I'm trying to get to.
I agree.
There are people who, in your past who just exude something about them that makes you feel like you can be yourself around them. One of those people may have been your ex, right? Or a person you had sex with. It didn't work out for whatever reason. But if you now get married and you have a wife and this person is still significant in your life, not like they play a major part, but just enough that you want to, they're a good person, and you introduced her to your wife, do you think that like the relationship is then now over or it changes?
It will change. I think first of all, it would never last that long. Like you, let's say I had sex with somebody, right? We was never boyfriend girlfriend, but we were real cool, and we were quote unquote friends. See, I get real detailed as to what I call somebody my friend. Like you said, like you can't, you're not hitting me up at 11. You're in my car is on the side of the road.
Right.
So I'm gonna say, well, who's the nigga house you was leaving?
That's the boundary that they have to establish. They have to have that boundary, knowing that you are a married man. They can't hit you.
See, and that's what I mean. But most real friends, like Al, like our homie, she can do that because that's like my real genuine friend. Last, you know what I mean? That
because that line wasn't crossed.
Correct. Right. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's ever.
But she probably shouldn't be able to hit you at 3 a.m.
No. I got to be like the last call though.
Right,
like yo, I called this person. Nobody's picking up. That story got to be said while you dialing. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it needs to place down. I mean, personally, for me, I don't personally feel like no one. If I call you my friend and I got a female friend, her name is Brandy. Y'all know Brandy.
Yeah. Shout out to Brandy.
She can call me anytime, and like I know my wife wouldn't think that it would be an issue. I know Brandy would never cross that line. She's a married woman too, and I know that she just understands that respect factor, right?
Right.
But I would never not give her the access to me if there was something that she had to call me at 11 p.m.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is, right? So I understand what you're saying because it's more or less like there's a boundary that has been crossed, but it's just like.
But do you hang with your friends?
I don't hang with a lot of people like that. Like outside of like us collecting like this, it's just hanging out to me changed in a lot of ways, right? So like I don't really look at it in a way where if it's not productive, that I'm not really just hanging out.
Right.
But that's why I said, well, it's the purpose of the person.
But I think the nuance that we're missing is the fact that if this person is your friend, they don't have to be told what the boundaries are. They know what the boundaries are. So I'm sure Brandy probably knows. If Brandy hits Kev at like midnight, she needs to talk to Kevin.
There's something happening.
Right. And that's the assumption. You always provide that access to her based on the fact that if she calls at that time, she really needs you and you specifically. But also that's a line that wasn't crossed. You know what I mean? It's like that's a female friend aspect. But like safe to say that y'all really can't carry. We don't want to carry friendships with exes into your marriage. Safe to say that?
Not a good idea.
I get
Not
it.
safe to say
I would say yes. Because I can see the confusion at times. But I think if it's just if you guys can have a solid communication with your spouse, whether it's a male or female, I get it. I get
Kev,
the aspects of it.
It's too hard to
stretch. No, Kev, I'm with you. What Kev is saying is that he's not eliminating. He's not making a blanket statement like no. He's like, I mean, I get what y'all are saying, but there may be situations where an ex we're cool in our relationship.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're not your friend. They're now a frequent acquaintance or casual acquaintance.
So they
You're
can
not
never
seeing them.
They can never graduate to friendship again.
They serve no purpose. You're now in another relationship with a whole nother like they don't serve the same purpose.
Okay.
People they change. That's all I'm saying.
I see that. That dynamic that's a tough dynamic, to be honest. Like I've rarely seen it work well, to be honest with you, unless the people were like super grown, had kids together. If that's the case, like
that's different.
That changes the dynamic a little bit.
Correct.
But like if it's just like an ex, I don't know. I've never seen that work well, ever.
Well,
like if people who are divorced, you ever see like people who are divorced that like they just cool and you like yo, you know what I mean? Because they had kids, they whatever, and they just accepted the fact that they're not supposed to be together, but they just genuinely cool.
Right.
Then that's like he said, that's a whole nother dynamic. Yes, you can be cool with your ex then
That's
because
a
it's
crazy
more
question.
serious. It's like
But that's
that's
I'll that's what I was going to say. So, well, first of all, today my mom's birthday. Shout out to my mom. My mom.
shout out to my. I didn't want to bring.
No, it's cool. But
I know that's how you.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's what I was going to get to. That's how I was going to finish it. My mom and dad broke up when I was 17. They had been together for 20 years at that point. My mom let her new guy know, this nigga comes with me. This nigga being my dad. He comes with me, right? Now, granted, kids were involved. That's a whole different ball game.
That makes
And
sense.
my dad and my mom were best friends. No lines were crossed. And my mom had a whole nother boyfriend, right? So she made it very clear that he is a part of my life, has been for the better part of 20 years, and that's what it is. She set the boundary. My dad never crossed the boundary, and my dad will only come over there if she invited him, right? And it had to be
No
green lit.
pop-ups.
Right, none of that, nothing random. So it was all communication was across the board. But that's the thing. They're married, had kids, clearly had sex. That's how I got here.
Yeah.
So,
But this always goes to what Kev usually like. Kev operates
in the gray area.
No, somewhat, but he creates that. Like you said, if it's I set the bar here, so that way there's no confusion. That was one thing I learned about Kev early in the game when I met him. Was like, yo, he always says, "Here's where the Mason-Dixon line is," right? So we might get as close to that line, but you know that there's a line, so you can't act like you didn't know something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's always out there, so don't act brand new. That's his thing.
Here are the boundaries.
You see what I'm saying? So if you set it up that way, yes, but it can't be we together for 4 years.
Oh,
or some
no,
shit
no,
and,
no, no.
oh yeah, my friend. Who? When? What? No.
Like, yeah, he was in my guts. What? No.
Well, you say that, you get thrown out. You Jazzy Jeff out the crib. Like,
So you girl can't tell you who was in her gut.
nah, you don't say. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. Get choked out.
Yeah. All right. That was a good talk. So obviously I mentioned this podcast to be successful if we talk about what's a good man. But before we get there, I'm gonna kick it over to Zoe for Zoe Knows.
But before we go there, who we talking to, Var?
We are here to amplify the voice of the modern black man.
Yes, sir. So with the Zoe Knows, we got. Well, first we want to shout out Mom. Mr. Travaris Fauntleroy's mother, the person who helped create him.
Yeah, one half of the great duo that helped to bring me into this world.
Exactly. So he wouldn't be here today without her. So
yeah, happy
we
birthday,
wanna
mommy.
happy birthday to her. Genuine, true, hilarious individual. Just an all around good spirit. So we want to say blessings to her.
Thanks, bro.
Next we got you know how stuff just gets stupid. So in the Zoe Knows, we're gonna talk about a lot of weird stuff. Not weird, but it's weird to me because it's almost one of those you gotta what they say, laugh to keep from crying.
Yes.
So to me, I just say stuff is weird when it's uncomfortable like that, right? So now in the Derek Chauvin trial, right? They got all these weird experts that they keep bringing to the stand. Now this guy's saying that what may have caused George Floyd's death was the fumes of carbon monoxide because he was on the floor by the exhaust.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I didn't hear this. I
haven't
haven't
today.
been-
That's like
I haven't been
hours
following.
ago. That was like what came across us all on social media, Shade Room, Black Media.
Now, is this Derek Chauvin's lawyer now cross-examining his witnesses?
No, it's one of his witnesses and then the prosecution.
Okay,
was
okay.
cross-examining. Because
okay.
remember, the first 2 weeks was prosecution's witnesses, and now he's bringing his own witnesses to kind of like debunk whatever they were saying prior. But this is it's like how much reaching are we gonna do? Like this is
Stretch Armstrong.
Crazy. It's like if you shoot somebody in the head, it's like, well, their brain just stopped working.
He hit the floor,
Like,
and then
you know
that's what
I mean?
killed him.
No, stop it! Like you killed that man. Like it's killing me. All these different scenarios they try and bring up, man.
Yeah, so
it's disappointing.
Yeah, it is, and it's like
The system.
it's almost like a gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? At this point, it's like this is the TV show. Like it's like a reality show.
Will he be on the stand?
I don't know. That's a good question. Was OJ ever on the stand? I think he was. Remember?
Yeah, he did. The glove.
The glove joint.
But he didn't go up there.
He
did
kind of was like standing there.
I thought he was on.
No,
I
he
just
was-
remember it
I know.
wrong.
I think he was on the stand and came down to try the glove on, right?
Like struggling with the glove on.
No, he was
No,
standing up.
he
when
went to
was
the
doing
he went to the jury. He was in front of the
Yeah.
jury doing
Oh,
that.
it. He was standing up with
All right, I
that
remember
Looking all
it
stupid.
correctly. He looked
big
so
ass
dumb.
head.
I can't get it down. Like, stop it.
Only thing he should have like.
You didn't
was
juke.
this.
You didn't juke. You didn't juke 30,000
You know,
niggas in
you
your
can't get your
career.
glove on. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Your name is the Juice, so you can't put your glove on.
yeah,
You
get out of
struggle with
here,
that
bro.
glove
With
like
that,
that.
you been putting on football gloves your whole life. Now you don't know. So I don't know if he's getting on the stand or not, but we'll see. And then unfortunate news, we had in Brooklyn Center, which is 10 miles away from Minneapolis, where George Floyd was murdered. We had another shooting in the past week.
Shooting and death. Right?
Yes, Kim Potter. She shot a young individual named Dante Wright.
Rest in peace, Dante Wright.
Yeah, he was 20 years old, I believe. Very young, in his
Young
early
guy.
20s. And was a dad and was a father.
I've consciously not indulged in this story. This
Oh,
story
it's gonna get you
broke.
tight.
This story broke. I think a day before I flew here to Jersey,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm focusing on Joy. I will get caught up on it, but I don't know anything about it.
Well, I'm gonna just give you a quick little assessment. You could do
me
your
Cliff Notes?
yeah, the Spark Notes, Cliff Notes, whatever we
Yeah.
used to use in college. But it was a traffic stop.
Google.
Yeah, they saying that the traffic stop was because of the air freshener, which is that BS. And some people there's reports saying something was about the registration, but whatever. He was on the phone with his mother at the time too.
No, man.
Like, yo, I just got pulled over.
This is not the Cliff Notes version, yo.
No, listen, this is, trust me. But anyway, so he gets pulled over. He's out the car because he had a warrant. And then the warrant wasn't like a felony warrant. It was
Like
like
unpaid tickets or something.
yeah, something stupid like that, like $300 worth of tickets.
Something like VAR would have in 09.
Yeah, pretty much. James, Woody, all y'all. Y'all was riding the criminal chapter.
We weren't riding clean.
Vehicular criminals.
Right. Yeah.
So,
right.
But so
Shout out to the bike cops in New Brunswick.
oh my God, Pacific Blue. So they take him out the car, and then the female officer, the Kim Potter, decides that she's coming up to the scene and wants to like take over. And in between that's when homeboy took off. Like, oh, the black dude let me go. She's on me. I'm trying to take off. He gets in the car and he's trying to go, and she goes taser, and then shoots him. But she has a gun in her hand. It's the video footage out. So she yells taser, which to me is kind of like when the person's half dead, they're like, stop resisting, like on the floor, I felt like it was just a semantics thing for her to say that, because I don't know if any of y'all ever I have a firearm, so I can't confuse a taser for a firearm because of the weight. It's like holding the top ramen noodles and then like a Campbell's soup can. It's not, you can't confuse it. And your gun is if you're a righty, it's on your right hand. It's on your dominant hand.
Right.
And the taser's on your lesser of the two. So that's the thing. She's saying, oh, I accidentally thought my gun was my taser.
I heard that part.
And she's a 26-year veteran too.
26.
26. So
Meaning not
Aren't
like
the
veteran of
tasers
police force.
mad, like bright and yellow?
Yes. So even if it's in your hand, you can't like. So anyway, yeah, like I said, what I told you, it's weird, right? Like that's the only way I can describe it. Is weird, like it's just getting
But the
stupid.
fact that like somebody could just say something that stupid, like this
As
is
their
this
answer?
And now
country.
it's a conversation.
That's their
Like what's
answer.
my man Botham Jean that was in
his own house.
in his house,
Yeah.
and I thought it was mine. I
You
thought
don't
it
know
was
where you
my
live?
house. Like
Then are you on drugs?
the audacity of
That's
the
what I'm
stupidity
saying.
is
like,
wild.
You can't even give us the honor of a realistic response. You'll say something as wild like, "Oh, I thought it was my taser." Yeah, you've been a cop for 26 years. Like you don't know what your gun feels like. I'm sure that's not the first time you've pulled your sidearm. Like
Yeah.
so,
Even in practice, training, whatever.
and the same thing with this Derek Chauvin trial. Like, oh, he inhaled the fumes, or he might have had COVID. We don't know if he had COVID. It's always like, stop. Like I find it to be so annoying and a bit really condescending that they can
It's
have
very
such a
condescending.
nonsense like
response.
answer for something this serious. This is death. This is
But
murder.
meanwhile, opioids happen to these people. These people don't happen to opioids.
Yeah, it happens.
Yes.
Right,
These
like
poor people.
right.
It's a
Epidemic.
Epidemic, right?
Versus
They're not
criminal activity.
like they're
when
not
it's
putting these things in their mouths and ingesting them.
voluntarily.
Crackheads were criminals opioids, they need help. Right?
Yes.
There's resources. For
Yeah,
them.
so this is just a long, like, I don't know what to. It's like I can't even watch
Yo,
TV no
this
more.
podcast is a historical record of all the black trauma that we've experienced in the whole
In the
year.
last year.
How many podcasts have we had where we had to report on like the
Some wild
terribleness?
stuff that just happened.
We went like in like June or July. We went like 4 episodes straight with announcing
Yeah,
that somebody
sure.
else died.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then or got shot like my man. He didn't die, but
Jacob Blake.
yeah.
And then
like,
homeboy in Central Park with the birds.
Yeah. Some
He
wild
didn't-
stuff all the
Brother
time.
Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what's going on in the world. I tell people laugh so you don't have to cry.
Yeah.
And like James Baldwin said, to be black in America and to be woke is to be angry every day. So
Lying.
you know, it's almost the ignorance is bliss thing is real now.
It is.
So
It
you know,
is.
and then lastly, as we started the show off, we lost a legend.
R.I.P.
you know,
DMX, man.
Earl Simmons. So you know, he's a legend. DMX got me through a lot.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, shoot, I was using DMX on some of our clips as my personal.
Right.
He's the epitome
Music.
of a juxtaposition, bro.
It's
Praying on
easy.
albums that he's talking about, you know, doing some other stuff on too, man.
And
It's
saying that is the devil that.
Click, click.
Yeah, so it was wild. He said, God, why am I robbing him? But I still need him.
Funny thing is, with DMX passing and me being home for my mom's birthday, somebody asked me when my mom passed, like, yo, what's her favorite music so we can play it at the funeral? And I was like, bro, we can't. Her favorite music is DMX. Anything DMX, that's her favorite vibe.
Mhm.
Y'all
And
better
I'm
play
like-
that shit. Mom, I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
care
like,
where we at. The
I don't
pastor's
know-
got to understand.
I don't know if we can play any kind of Get At Me Dog after the organs play. I don't know if that's
We'll
gonna
wait
work.
till we get to the graveyard. Then, like,
Could have played that.
you out? You're not
Right.
technically.
We could have played it at the repass.
Yeah, you're not on the church property, so you know it won't seem
Yeah.
blasphemous. But
Yeah, my mom loved herself some DMX. My sister posted on her Instagram story. She was like, my mom loved DMX. She told me that he was my dad, and she was dead ass.
that's crazy.
I was like, yo,
That's crazy.
that's hilarious.
So,
But yeah,
yeah.
R.I.P. DMX. man.
R.I.P.
rest in
DMX.
peace.
Word.
So that's the wrap up for Zonos.
Kev, you wanted to have a brief moment and talk about what DMX meant to us, or how we felt about his passing.
Yeah, like what did that what message did we take away from, you know, when we say a legend passed away, like we normally say that because that person had a major impact in our lives. So
Mhm.
leading up to his demise, you know, what experiences emotionally have, you know, I probably asked each one of you took away from the death of DMX, or lesson or experience. So I'll start now by telling you, you know, for me, I had time to kind of reconsider my thoughts, but for me, it was more about, you know, I have an interesting thought about death. Realistically, I think death is part of life, you know, and I don't want to say I embrace death because it is a celebration in its own way. It's just that for us as humans and being in a space, we embrace the presence of each other.
Yeah.
And when that's gone forever, and this time, we're sad.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, if the fulfillment of your life was completed on Earth, then as he has done, he has left an impact in a lot of people's lives. So he's completed his mission here
Right.
with us at this moment, right? So now it's, you know, I got a chance to really like bounce this conversation with some people that really like that have been close to him and knew him, and met him and talked to him and discussed with him and things of that nature. And it was interesting to hear thoughts because it was more or less like the most important thing about him was, you know, he has like a lot of people that depend on him, and
15 kids.
yeah, you know, so you know, you just pray for those individuals. You pray that
Yeah.
you know, their experiences were well received and maybe they can grow after. And it's really the hope, you know, really the idea. So it was touching for me because I like I said, I grew up listening to rap because of DMX. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of went, you know, my family from I'm from here. We all gonna not believe it or not, but me listening to rap at 7 wasn't a thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Or 8. You know what I'm saying? Like it was pop, whatever came on Disney.
Okay.
And that was the vibe.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And that's what my parents exposed us to. That's what we would have to kind of like, you know, whatever. So listening to DMX was like hip hop. Like wow.
Yo, that's how you go from Disney to DMX. That's wild.
Kev went from
That was-
bop
To
what?
It was here comes the boom. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's a good introduction.
Boom and bounce.
Right.
Oh, that's my jam, though.
And,
It is.
and whatever else came from that. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember at the moment in time, but it was just like a good smooth transition to hip hop. And DMX was a pathway for that. You know, for me personally. So I took experience that his death meant. You know, living on earth with faith and passion outside of what you are not delivered to do, but living to the max. Like he did that, which was to provide a message. You know, he was dealing with a lot. I'm saying a lot, but I know that he was dealing with a lot through his music. As I listened to his music more and more, I heard him really kind of talk about the things he was challenged or he was struggling with. You know what I'm saying? And
transparent, super transparent.
Yeah. So that was what I appreciate. You know what I mean? From
mine's is short and sweet. On the transparency end, it's like live your truth, right? If you own up to the things that you are going through and experiencing, nobody else can make fun of you or take that from you. Like you have to be whatever your struggles are, embrace them and turn them into your strengths. I'm always about repurposing trauma and letting that be the fuel to kind of get you through. Same thing where if somebody's making jokes on you in school, all right, how many fat jokes can I get before I start clapping back? You are taking in their energy like vibranium, and then you are redistributing it. So I think DMX did that very well. He'll take his pain, redistribute it, and make it worldwide music that will live well beyond him. So,
man, for me, I'll go back to what I said before. I just loved how multifaceted he was. Like, for me, I was able to listen to DMX because he had a prayer on the album. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was like my end.
You played that first.
Like, yo, check this out. Like, you know what I mean?
But the fact that the track was called Prayer.
Right.
Just prayer.
Yo, but I think it's what he embodied, like, and it might have been kind of like polar opposites, really. But what he embodied is like the true embodiment of Christianity, really. It's like, I'm imperfect, but I love the Lord. Like, and to me, that's what I really take away from DMX, outside of the fact that his rap cadence is unmatched, bro. Son. Like, he can say simple phrases and it sounds so hot. Like, when it's on, I transform, like, to Miss Prime. Why is that so hot? And it's hot because of the way he said it, right? So, like, that's, for me, like, that's how I like to, you know what I mean, remember him, by those two things.
Stop Being Greedy is a fire song because just because of that balance of
listen, to me that it hit me more because I felt like Stop Being Greedy is like a song I could relate to. Like that's my personality. It's like balance. I'm a Libra. It's all about up or down. And if one side is tipped, something gonna happen. Like it's usually that's just me. But I used to wake up and listen to that every day before school, like ready to punch somebody in their face because I didn't like where I was at. Like I hated the move. My environment sucked.
Dating the virgin, all types of frustration.
Yeah, so you could imagine, like, I'm ready to pop off in both ways. And it wasn't happening, so it was like, damn, and then like just his energy was crazy. Like it's workout music, basketball music, whatever you want to do. Whatever, if you feeling low energy, you put some X on, you could do anything in the world. Like,
I heard him give a little interview to GQ, and he was talking about Party Up. He was like, if you listen to the song, it's disrespectful
as hell.
And he's like, he said, Swiss was like, let's make them dance. I was like, all right, well, give me a beat that they can dance to. He said, but I'm going to put some disrespectful music on top of it. And he was like, if you listen to the song, it's really disrespectful.
He was like crazy mess in that.
Yo, it is. Yo, it is.
Like, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Yeah, you whack, you twisted, your girl's a hoe.
You broke the kid
ain't yours, and everybody know. The whole hood think you stupid.
You like,
but that was an anthem even for like our parents. Like, remember they thought they was cool with like up in here.
Yeah, it was a phrase
that was like definitely like a mom and aunt phrase. Up in here.
Yeah. That's why that X passing, like, it hit me differently because I was like, I really was entrenched. I mean, I grew up watching Video Music Box. Before DMX came out, I was watching like Eric B. and Rakim and Kid and Play and all of them.
We're not that old, yo.
We're not that I was watching. Being like my family, we're hip hop, the whole New York scene, everything, like that was a thing. So he was just another person. Like, ooh, we got a new toy. Like at the time,
right?
And then I never forget. I think I was in 8th grade, and I had like a graduation party for 8th grade graduation right before you start high school. It was before I left town, whatever. And that Rough Riders 1 album came out.
Man, with the Stop Drop remix joint was.
Yeah.
Look, we can do this forever, man. Like,
Right.
I'm just saying that
Nah,
he got the hottest. Even
everybody-
his verses, like
everybody knew
when he
the-
power respect, the whole club goes wild when
They
his
do.
verse come on.
They
Yeah.
They don't even remember anybody else's verse.
Yeah, true.
Lil
So-
Kim's part.
Oh yeah, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that's to me it was like I could relate as he is like it was a bipolar kind of situation if you had to diagnose it like where it's like even in Stop Being Greedy, first you got the good thing, and you got the bad thing. I mean shit, I think I used that in
You did.
Greedy
did.
at one point. So
You did. But once again, RIP to DMX. Prayers and thoughts to all his family members, all those who are going through it. Hopefully he's no longer in pain in a better place.
Yep.
So let's get into our main topic today, talking about what is a good man.
What is it?
Oh man, ladies, feel free to have a field day again with this because we'll know some things, but you'll have your expectations as to what a good man is. But let's go around the room and define. Give me one word or phrase of what a good man is. Just one thing. I'll start. I'd say consistent. I think a good man is consistent. What do you think about that, Cleveland? What is
I'm trying
your
to think
word or
of the
phrase?
proper form of this word, but someone who has integrity. So integrous.
Integrity. Oh,
Is it integrous? I made that up. I don't know. It
I
sounded
mean-
smart though. Integrous.
integrous.
isn't that a
Just
car?
own it.
It's an
Isn't that a
Integra.
car? Oh, okay.
It's an Acura.
I'm like what?
Kev, how about you? What is a good man? One phrase.
Who say what they are going to do.
Okay, I like
Who
it.
do what they
you
say.
Yeah, do what they say.
What do you
I
say,
would
Zoe?
probably say responsible.
Okay. Now I'm going to go reversed, and I'm going to ask you, what do you think a woman would say a good man is?
Somebody who pay the bills. Like I don't know. That's just. I think it's like again action oriented.
Right,
That
right.
It does something for them.
Okay, Kev, what do you think a woman would say a good man is?
I mean, the list would go on. It's gonna be a long list. So I don't have. It's not one phrase. It's gonna be a plethora of items. And
give me one thing, just one thing.
listens.
Listens. Okay, that's fair. That's a good one.
I would say loyalty is probably
Probably the most. Yeah, that's probably.
Mom's gonna be faithful, so that was.
That's kind of
yeah,
synonymous in
I would
nomenclature.
say
yes.
those two are gold standard.
Right,
in terms
right.
of a good man, right?
yeah, loyal.
Loyalty.
And I wanted to get this running list, so to speak, of items that women or men think a good man is. People in general think a good man is probably a guy that has a certain level of criteria that he meets, and doesn't stray away from that. And often we find this with a woman who has a list, a list of what her potential mate would be. How effective is a list for men or women? But let's speak about women because we're talking about what a good man is. How effective is a list of attributes in terms of finding a mate?
I think it's I'll start. I think it's effective depending on if they're realistic or not. Like it depends on the list, but I think we all have lists in some way, shape, or form because of either let's say past experiences.
No, let's talk about written down. And your notes
I've never written down the list.
or
Bro,
I
on
think that's a
paper.
little weird.
They're
I
written.
think at that point you had desperate times. Like you didn't went through everybody on the block.
Could it be manifestation?
Well, that's where it's not realistic. That's what I'm saying. Like in their mind, they're trying to mold the Gumby into some prima donna. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. to me.
Okay. So how about you, Kev? What do you think of if you hear a woman has a list as to the mate that she's trying to attract?
I don't think that's a bad look. I think if you know what you're looking for, then that makes your trying out process less, challenging. Essentially, right? If you know what criteria you need to fulfill for your partner, because it's just like women have a different perspective on mating, and I would imagine marrying than we do too. So I mean, I'm sure their list is gonna satisfy whatever they bring to their table and want to be able to, and however they see their lives moving forward. So like, I don't think anything's wrong with having a criteria or a list. I think that it'd be something along the lines of, obviously bring something to the table financially. That's going to be a real conversation. I don't think people want to really have that direct conversation, but what can we provide and what can you provide?
What can you do for me?
Hopefully she has a table if she's writing a
But
list.
that's the thing, like not, in the special women that
there.
have a table and I it's interesting you brought that up, right? But I think having a table gives you and no matter who you are, man or woman,
Right, for sure.
gives you the platform to say this is what you should have, right?
And for the record, for what we're speaking of is it's a metaphor. Having a table, meaning people say, what can you bring to the table? In order to bring something to the table, meaning that you should have something already to put something on for that person to put on top of the table. You need to have your own foundation, things of that nature.
I think the misconception is that either men should all be applying and bringing the table, the fork and spoon,
right.
Build the table.
Right. Or you bringing the tablecloth that I'm gonna take off anyway.
But that's a bad. That's like, in my opinion, that's like a recipe for a bad relationship when it's skewed on one side, like
right.
That, So
Cleveland, how about you? What is
when it comes to a list?
I over there burning up.
Yeah, you know what? Because I've had some dating experiences.
Isn't
with
the
lists.
commandments? Don't you use that as your list?
Nah, but no. But the thing is, I think any list has to like be classified in a way. Like there should be standards, like stuff that you won't compromise on.
Right.
But those non-negotiables should be character traits. They should not be anything that's like tangible. Surface. Or,
so you mean so tall can't be on her list?
That goes into another bucket. I think there's standards. I think there's preferences. I think there's nice to haves, right? So I think you have a standard, but let's not conflate the standards and the preferences.
Okay,
that's what I think people go.
Give me an example of a standard.
So a standard is like I want someone who I can trust. I want someone who doesn't lie. I want someone who's honest, right?
Well, those three things never exist at the same time.
Everybody lies.
It's difficult.
Just don't lie to me.
But you know what I mean. Like
all men cheat, just not on you. What they said.
No, but like that's like a standard, right? That's like a character trait. But like a preference is tall. A preference is good sense of style. To be honest with you, because I'll be real, like a lot of women want someone packaged and like ready to go, like moving ready home
turnkey
types. Turnkey, exactly. That's the best phrase. They want turnkey, but like if you don't like the way he dresses, help him with that.
Rehab me.
Thank you.
That's easy.
I might need
I want to look.
floors.
I want to look nice for you.
But that's easy.
Go buy my clothes. Yeah. I don't care. Go buy my clothes.
I might need some new floors. Maybe the bathroom needs to be updated.
Thank you.
Some people. I mean,
because a house is a house of love.
Dad, so like.
Yes, it is, and I've learned.
Yeah, I think that those are fine though. Like the clothes thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. Those, I think that's more of a nice to have.
That's like a preference.
But when it comes to what a good man is, can a woman build a man? Like a Build-A-Bear.
I don't think it lasts long.
No, it never works.
I think you can empower a man, but you can't build a man. Like,
speak on it.
Because when you use the terminology build, and I know women sometimes think this way, that they can get a man's behavior to change based off of their quality, based off of their things that they like and preferences, but you got to empower somebody to change, and it has to be for their particular benefit and reason for it to last, right? And yeah, you can change somebody for a moment, but how long is that really gonna last? You know, so empowerment, not build. Go away from that building concept.
I think, but we've all heard that before, right?
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying.
No. I think that's a good perspective in terms of, women may seek to change a man to accommodate for that said list that they may have. They may want a guy that has, let's say the guy has a little bit of an edge, right? But she sees the potential, underlying word potential, for him to maybe be more polished, right? And she's trying to push him in that direction, which might end up pushing him away because she's not allowing him to be himself.
Or grow into something.
Right. You can't take a fish out of the water and expect him to survive.
Well, what I think a lot of times is meaning women, will bypass red flags because of one of those things that they like. And they think, I like he's tall or he's handsome or whatever.
Everything else is, I can fix it.
Yeah. I got this part is cool. So now, like,
because it looks good.
Make this guy over here. Like, it's not.
You put more weight on the preferences.
Yeah.
Like, so I got what I preferred, but the whole core of everything is falling apart.
I feel like that happens 90% of the time. Like, that's why relationships don't last long.
It's this Instagram society. I want to take nice pictures and have pretty babies. I don't want a real relationship.
Yeah,
that's where the list goes wrong.
I get that.
I think they base their lists. I just think of people's lists are not realistic.
And I think what Kev was saying earlier, and then what you brought up about the unrealistic part, is interesting because a lot of the lists be long, bro. They don't be like 10 bullet points. It'd be like 25. You remember Chili on what Chili wants? The reality
damn,
show.
You remember that?
I do. And she had this list that was, yo, bro, she had Usher at his height. And
she
Usher
couldn't rock
wasn't
that.
enough. He didn't meet the standard.
You're never gonna meet like
No, you're right.
That's
but
like you said. No,
Yeah.
everybody can't be all things. Like
you cannot. You have to know that your cup will be full by other people outside of your relationship. And that should be more natural than it is unnatural. And the quicker you understand that concept, the quicker you will be able to understand this list can probably be like 8 things.
I wish there was a woman we could call to ask for like a list, cause I'm like you said, the chili and that whole
Wild,
she
bro.
like, oh, he gotta be this, he gotta be that. Like he gotta chew on the right side of his face. Like I don't like, what is that? Like
Right. He must lose Lubriderm on his face every Thursday and Friday.
And to me, like, I think the biggest issues I've had with lists is how you got stuff on the list that you're not even doing.
That's what I'm
that's the bring
saying.
to the table
That's the
concept.
table.
That's the table,
you can't-
right?
You can't be having these demands
and you don't do it.
and you don't have.
And
a
you-
foundation.
I'm
you're not
requesting
even-
something of you. I
Exactly.
don't do
You
myself.
can't do that.
All right, let's break this up into segments. Loyalty, right? This is the under the umbrella of a good man. We're going to talk about a few things that we spoke about: loyalty, finances, and I think about the third one later. In the terms of loyalty, what is
Companionship.
companionship? Let's use that as a third one. What does a good man do in terms of loyalty? How loyal is a good man? In quotes. What does loyalty look like?
I think, well,
what's their
foundationally, loyalty
situation?
loyalty is like, I'm not going to cheat on you.
I'm
I'm not going to have
exclusive.
sex with someone else if I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's like the foundational, I guess, sentiment around that term loyalty.
Should that be number one though?
Exclusivity.
I think it's important.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I could see like not wanting to be cheated on being like a number
Deal
one
breaker.
thing on the list for sure.
But do you put loyalty and faithful in the same bucket? Like, do they equate the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like one is married to the other. Like, I feel like if you are unfaithful, then that shows. I don't know. I don't like condemning people, but I feel like if you're unfaithful, it does reveal a bit of being disloyal. Like, because it's like, I'm trusting you to go to where you said you were going to be, but you were at Keisha's house, right? So that you're not being loyal.
Keisha sounds like she could cook some fried chicken like a motherfucker.
Yo, can I ask you a question though about that? Is the loyalty? You said could loyalty be
And faithfulness.
Faithfulness. All right. So, is there a situation where loyalty doesn't involve?
Yes. Like it doesn't involve like
I
cheating.
think I know there. Yeah, like
Yeah.
like to me when I think of it, I'm thinking like loyalty, like you got my back on certain situations.
yes,
So like
that-
okay. I just want to make for the public.
I
clarity.
equate
That's what you were saying.
I
Okay.
equate supportive, like being supportive and loyal.
Okay.
Also, if your family don't really rock with me,
Oh yeah. that's
then
the big
you
one.
got my back.
Yeah.
You know, because
you gotta take the
I feel
bullet.
like being faithful it's an expectation, right?
Yeah.
But I think that this comes down wild. Too much emphasis is being put there as opposed to being
Yeah,
put
just let
on
me
the
do what I wanna
building
do.
of the relationship.
Let me
and-
just see.
Leave me alone. I said Keisha has great fried chicken. I'll be back.
I asked.
No, she said, "Where you going? I'm gonna get some chicken." But
I asked.
but
So I know where not to go.
but I feel like loyalty, it has support within it. It has having your back within it.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Being faithful is there for
Being
sure.
faithful is it's subordinate
Branch.
to loyalty. It's
Yeah.
like it's not the only thing connected to loyalty.
Right. It doesn't take up
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
pie chart, but
Exactly.
it takes up
I
a
think it's
significant-
taking like 3/4 of it though.
It means a lot.
At least to
though.
people, that's what they care about more.
I mean,
Am
it
I right?
depends. It depends. You know, I think obviously, I think you know you want to be with somebody that you can trust, and trusting someone means a lot. More means depend on you, right? And depends you're going to deliver whatever I perceive the delivery to look like. But I like Var's kind of point in the direction because you know I'm not advocating that any person should cheat on their spouse or their significant other, but I think you can still do that and still be a super faithful and loyal person to your spouse. You feel what I'm saying? In a weird
We can't be faithful.
conversation.
But you be
I
loyal.
mean, faithfulness
Be
in the
loyal.
terms of you can tell her. You
So
feel what I'm saying?
what Kevin's saying is that
Commit suicide.
there's infidelity But faithful, I think when we speak about faithful not being, we talk about infidelity, right?
Yeah.
But I think we use those words interchange because being faithful doesn't also have another context, doesn't have another, it can be tied to another thing about like someone who has faith in someone.
Yeah, but I think to be clear, when I was saying faithful and loyal, well, I'll specifically say faithful. It's literally tied to being monogamous. It's literally tied to only.
I feel that too. I think it's important for health reasons.
And then if, like, to your point, like if you're
like not outside of everything.
After relationship, but you gotta hint to help over here. Hint to help.
It's a lot going on in the world.
Yeah, hint to help over here.
Just hold it down and don't bring nothing back. I'm lying,
Oh
but
my God.
but I think what we're getting at is, and I would love to spend an entire episode on Kev's point because that is interesting.
Yo,
If just because I cheat on you doesn't mean that I don't
John
love
Legend,
you. What was
Kanye.
What was it?
Remember that song?
Oh, that was a fire
Number
song.
one.
That was a
He
fire
said,
song.
my heart don't got nothing to do with my penis. He got a mind of his own. I don't be saying shit.
Hey, listen,
I'm gonna leave you
I
hanging
tried to
because y'all
jack off.
because y'all left me hanging last week, so I'm gonna leave you hanging on this one.
he asked me who was you playing with,
Yeah. He said,
Oh, you gonna co-sign this?
I know he loved you. He told me you was his favorite.
You not,
Wait,
not
where we
fake
left
know
you
the
on the
song.
cliff?
You know the
Y'all
song.
left me hanging.
we did not leave you on a cliff.
Yes, y'all did. It wasn't.
Wait,
It wasn't the song. It was talking about. It was saying something about cheating, and y'all was like, "Oh, I don't know what he talking about."
I'm just quoting the song.
Your
You was
ad libs on my motivational moment, and then you was stinging Zoe about stepping on. I was listening, but I was like, "Oh, he's snitching." During my motivation, when I talk about Netflix and chill, oh, he's snitching right now. I'm like, oh, all right.
Got to get my Jim Jones ad libs in.
Terrible.
Advancing the conversation too. All right, we got loyalty. What about finances? When it comes to being what is a good man, and how does that equate to finances? Like, what do you think the expectations are there?
Transparency, communication. I think it'll be like taboo to say you have to have the bag to be considered a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think, when you, in most cases, if you can share, if you can be transparent with what you have, with your assets, and you kind of communicate those things, and be open-minded to sharing your resources. I think that just brings forth just a good partner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, I think like that's for me. That's where the triangle is drawn. It's just like it doesn't have to necessarily be like a one-sided thing or two-sided thing, but I think that's where the connection can take place.
I think that a good man. This is not my perspective, but I think what people think is that a good man foots the bill.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I don't at all.
I think historically that's what it was, and that was the gender roles kind of deal.
Right.
But I think financially, a good man knows
plans.
No, just know your strength. Like he said, transparency, right? So if I'm terrible with money, she might be good with money. So I need to, vice versa. But you gotta be clear on that.
I can't
so
wait
then you stay in your lane, and then also with that, if you're the weaker of the two, then you need to. Part of it is trying to improve, not just being like, well, I'm terrible with money. I just bought a new car, even though like the lights just went off. Like,
yo, Zoe, stop snitching! God damn.
I feel like what I'm hearing is like a good man checks his ego when it comes to money. Like, so even if
you make a lot of money,
that's what it is, though, right?
Ego and money are so
they're together.
They're closely tied.
But it only can get checked if the person like
if they have a check.
No. Carry a check. Like she can't. Or your significant other can't be like throwing that in your face though. Like
no.
Every time, like just because I ain't take out your trash, you can't say with your broke ass.
No,
oh my gosh, that can't be a thing.
I hit a rough spot. I'm in between opportunities right
now. Where was that from?
Oh man,
that was somewhere.
That's the intro. I'm in between opportunities right now.
You can't throw that on me like that. Like if you just happen, I might be tradesman.
Just because you met me broke don't mean I've been broke my whole life.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, I might be a garbage guy and you like a professor or some shit. Like you can't throw that on me. Like that's where pride comes in.
Yeah, pride, ego, and money is definitely tied together, not loosely, but very, 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 very closely. Cleveland, what say you, brother?
Well, when it comes to money, I think you have to be transparent. I think you have to be consistent. Like if you can hold the job and you bring your money back home, to me that's what makes you a good man. Like not so much how much I make, but more or less whatever I make, I'm open about what I'm making and I'm sharing it with our household. That's what makes me good. Like, I'm not hiding my money. If I make more than you, I'm not belittling you. If I make less than you, I'm not like so prideful that I feel uncomfortable by the fact that you make more than me.
Yeah,
because I'm consistent. I do what I do.
I gave my fake example of like footing the bill. The real life example for me is because I make more money than my partner, I pay more. I pay for more. I feel the consideration of finances is what makes a good man. You're considerate, like Zoe said. If you know that you're not you're not budget guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not budget guy. If me and my shorty were married now, like, look, babe, here's my check, bust it down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have no problem doing that because the trust is established. But I think that a good man is very considerate and knows your strengths and weaknesses, but also is like, you know, you gotta make sure that everybody's equitable in the house. If it's y'all two that's bringing in the money and you making the money, you can't be like, well, I mean, I want Red Lobster, but I don't know what you gonna get.
Yeah, not at all. I think the bills.
You hungry? You eating on your own today.
So what? Not saying that this has to work for everyone, but like we broke out the expenses by a percentage of income. So all the expenses, it's 100%. If you bring in 60 and I bring in 40, I manage 40% of the expenses. You manage 60% of the expenses. Right. We just do it like that.
Is it okay if your significant other has never identified or know what like one of the bills is? Like they never even seen.
That is your problem. You did that. You created that monster.
I didn't say I was talking about me. I was asking a general.
You're asking for a friend. Well, your friend manages all that.
Yeah, right.
Like yo, you never even seen the like.
The friend that I know
clicking shit on and off and don't even know.
Oh, you walk in the room like, how does light turn on? Me.
Like you
I
never even glanced at the joint. Like,
get your own.
Word up. I just like that. Just made me think about that. I'm like, I know some people like that.
You created that monster though.
I didn't say I was talking about me, so I
but
don't know
you
why
did.
You keep saying that, but okay.
I don't know who he's talking about. But what about the okay? Let's advance the conversation. The last part of finances. When do you think a man should pay all the bills?
Never.
When he's willing and able.
Never.
I think if he's willing and if he's able, he should consider that sacrifice. 'Cause that's part of his duty.
So you think that, okay?
I'm not saying that like,
historical gender role duty.
I get that too, right? But if you are in the position to do that, then you shouldn't. If you like, for example, let's say you bringing in $350 a year,
right?
And your expenses
$350. Yep, that's why
your expenses $175. You should manage that,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that your wife shouldn't be able to help. You should find a way for her to be involved and help. Right. But as the leader in that space, with bringing $375 and your expenses $175, you should like lead that. You know, I think you should lead that. You should give her responsibilities
because you look greedy at that point.
No, I think it's just like it's always just been the man leads the home, and I'm not saying that it doesn't mean financially,
right?
It doesn't mean spiritually, it doesn't mean
it's mean leadership.
I just think that if you're in the position to do that,
right,
then you should sacrifice, because sacrificing is a big part of your role as being a husband anyway. So I think sacrificing to the extent of that,
can't watch what you want, can't go out when you want.
I'll tell you the reason why.
Big piece of
I
chicken.
tell you the issue with that, right? The issue could be on the other side of that is you feel that way, and now your ego is tried, and now you feel like you can do whatever you want because you are forking everything, right? And that's just the other side of that conversation, right? But I think if you're able to, though, I think you should. If you're able to support, you should give more.
I have a threshold, but go ahead.
I got contrary to that.
I agree. The only caveat I would say to that though is, even if you're able to, and even if you're happy to do it, like I like seeing my wife comfortable. Right. I like knowing that my wife feels comfortable. Mm-hmm. So like, if I could do it all on my own, I would. But here's what's key though. I think what keeps you from tripping and like is that there has to be something being reciprocated on the other side of that isn't financial though, right? Mm. You got to be proactive in other ways because if I'm paying everything and I'm putting the money out for everything, you know what I mean?
You got
it's
to
like
be supportive in another way.
You got to be
I
supportive.
don't smell no grits cooking.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even saying
that. You're gonna like.
Can you give us an example of?
All right, so like, all right, if I'm paying for everything and I'm managing all of the expenses in the household, it's like to me, okay, I'm taking care of everything, but like be proactive. If you see I need a new pair of sneakers and I mentioned a pair of sneakers, buy me that pair of sneakers.
This is the second time he mentioned them damn sneakers.
Well, I was gonna say, like, don't be getting mad Amazon packages to the house. Ain't none of them for me.
There you go.
Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
They give me a V-neck or nothing.
I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Can you give me some undershirts? Can you give me some socks?
They $5.
Yo,
you complain I had a hole in my sock.
You know, everybody in this room know ain't nothing like a new pair of socks and undershirts.
That's a fact.
It feels so good. You get the little white tee peeking out of
I bought a new pair of A shirts for this trip.
Fresh, no bacon neck.
We can't say wife beaters anymore. So
That's why I
said
said fresh.
tank tops.
Tank tops.
Tank tops.
No, but I agree with that aspect. I personally disagree. I say
Amazon
never.
boxes ain't for me.
I say never because
referencing it, never what?
Never. There's a time where I should pay everything, even if I could.
Right.
I in my pride wants me to do that. Wants me to be like, I'm the man. I got it all.
Right.
Even I can do it. I just feel like then I don't need you here. Like I just feel like, even though I don't need you anyway, because like you said, I can afford it. But it's like, well, what do you have to like? If we're doing this together, you should have as much stake in the game as me.
I get that.
But why does it have to be financial though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't have to be. That's how you live. I mean,
one aspect.
60-40, I'm still leading. I'm still taking a third. Like you,
But you're contributing. It's
There's
almost like
contributions, yeah.
getting.
That's what I mean. Like
If you get a free car, do you evaluate as much as
no,
if
you don't
pay
care
for,
about it.
Right.
And if you not paying nothing, you might not care as much.
Yeah, there's got to be.
Think about
buy-in,
these little
right?
wives
I
that
get
you see on TV, the
The
housewives or
yeah.
whatever. Like they don't be giving an F about nothing.
Swipe. For me, I
Yeah.
have a threshold. I have a number in mind that, granted, everything stays the way it is in terms of like not counting inflation, but I have a number in mind, and I want us to continue to keep building until she reaches a number. Then I'll give her an option. Do you want to continue to work? At that point, I mean, it ain't gonna be tomorrow, so she's gonna be pretty established in her career.
It gotta be a side hustle or something.
No, but that's
like you pay for the vacations. Then.
No, but that's what I'm getting to, Zoe. Pursue the thing that you are most passionate about, but then you're gonna have to have some auxiliary expenses like our fun, like you planning dates.
Yeah, you can't pay for nothing. That's what I'm
right. Like you're not scot
I
free.
get that.
I think we even touched on that when
That's the balance in the contribution and support of, like, you can't just sit back and lay back in the Maybach like ain't nothing at all,
Right.
Like, you got to be able to, like, you got to put some sweat in, whether it's like
sweat equity.
Yeah.
got to, like, you know what I'm saying, whether it's like you got all the administrative side of the crib, some type of vibe, and you just hold the household down, and like there's gonna be some sweat, you know what I'm saying. This doesn't have to look like financial if you're, but I totally
better be the best domestic engineer there ever was.
I agree with that. It doesn't have to be financial, but there has to be. You can't just be doing.
I'm with that.
I mean, for the record, to your question about why it had to be financial, it's only because we're speaking about finances.
Yeah,
I think
that was the original question.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Now, moving on from finances to companionship. Thanks for the alley-oop, Kev. What is a good man in relation to companionship? For me, I say cuddle a lot. What do you say?
So funny y'all say that.
Oh man,
Like
I love a good cuddle, boy.
Companionship to me is like that friendship, learning about your significant other, that friendship
I
aspect.
know I should have put you last. Fuck.
You
like
passed the ball.
I did. I
I
did.
don't even like going after him.
That friendship aspect, yo. Like we was talking about it a couple episodes ago. We were talking about love languages, right? We were talking about like knowing your partner, learning about your partner so that you can be a better partner to your partner. That's like
bars.
I was about to say that. Damn, spit hot fire, Diamond. I see.
Kev, you said you got some heat.
Well, because of cuddle.
Yeah.
The other day I told my wife, I only cuddle because you like it.
he was looking forward to it
because I put my arm around you and you the one feeling all secure.
Yeah.
My shit
I'm
is
doing
numb.
the cuddling.
Right.
I got the
I'm out in the
tingly
cold.
feeling. I gotta do all this. Head all heavy. Turn to uranium.
Right.
Your radio.
No, but with that being said, I think cuddling is cool. I think it helps make them feel secure and comfortable, which I can appreciate. But for me, I think companionship, along the line of being a good partner, it's really placing energy to get to know your partner, and like being committed to the changes that person's going to go through in their lives, and being persistent and wanting to learn more about them. Like you gotta be committed into them as you're committed to the next best thing that you enjoy and you love, because if that's gonna be a spouse and your wife, then you should kind of give that type of amount of energy to it, because people change.
Yeah.
And it's like you're with someone who you want to give your all to, but your all is really just being available to listen and to be malleable to change when when they need to be changed, because no one needs everything all the time. Same. So.
Hey, yo, you ever been like ill on purpose? You ever been like dope on purpose? I mean, by accident.
What you mean?
Like, with your partner, like
yeah.
So before I came out here, I was like, all right, I've been buying my shorty flowers every so often, right? Just to kind of make sure that like we move. I want to keep some freshness in the air. Shut up. But I've been buying her the same type of flowers. But we made a Target run before I came out here, and I was like, I'm taking to the flower shop. I'm letting you choose your flowers this time, right? So we went to the flower shop, and on the way, I was like, I've been buying you. She said, why do you want me to pick them? I'm like, because I've been picking your flowers all this time. I want you to have, a say so, like, in what you want. And then she hit me with the question, like, well, what's my favorite flowers? Right? So, in my head, I'm like, damn, do I know what her favorite flowers are?
The ones I get you?
Yo, but this the ill part. I've been getting her yellow roses for so long. I've been programmed that yellow roses is what I get her, but I learned that's her favorite flower a long time ago. I just programmed it, so I was unsure
in the back.
if yellow roses was actually her favorite flower. So I was like, yellow roses, and she was like, "You better had known." I was in my head like, "Shit, nigga."
Sweating.
Yeah,
You gave yourself a flower.
No
yeah,
sweat,
like,
cuz.
yeah.
Pat on the back.
Did that, boy.
I was in the car like that back sweat was like, yellow roses.
And his head, he was doing the Jordan jump, like, yeah, I got that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I think
I
that's
definitely
dope.
figure out you dope by accident. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, I would say, to answer the other question, like, I would say for companionship, to me, the best companionship to me is like fun laughter.
I was about to say, if you don't say like a sense of humor,
yeah, because y'all know me, I bug out, I joke.
you
It's
know,
so bad that
we be talking about how you can't change your partner, but Zoe changed his.
I did, yo.
Like he really
I was just about to
converted
say that.
his wife to like she's sharp, yo.
Yeah,
she's sharp.
She came from chilling and being quiet and like an observer and not saying much to like her clapback game was crazy, and I feel disrespected.
She hit you with a you
she
sure?
hit me with a me, and I'm like, wait a minute,
Yo, don't you love that though? Like when they be trying to with you be like, I see you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
all right.
that's true.
Yo, I say, yo, can you go back to OU for a second? Because you bombing me up right now. And I'm the one with the jokes
Look,
here.
when a student becomes a teacher, man,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful experience.
I think
for the
that
teacher.
makes me like happy, like that, like
Yeah.
that's fun, joking,
Yeah.
bugging out, just that's the companionship, just enjoying each other's company or time.
When you're shorty take your lingo, that's
Yeah,
fire.
that's wild.
That's
yeah,
fire.
when my wife be saying John, I'm like, you
Yeah.
ain't know
She
what
not even
John
from that
was.
area. Yeah,
You
Come
from
here,
Boston.
girl.
You had no idea what John was.
yeah, she's not even from there, so that's different.
Definitely.
My wife just say regular black shit because she not. So.
She's like, where my pick at? Like, yo, where you at?
Word up.
Where'd you get a pick from?
Bro, she come in with a bonnet. I don't know.
And you had her faking the phone. You need
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit.
you do it. That's too much.
For me, companionship is like that friendship aspect. Like I was, what's that song? I promise that she'll be a friend. Like whatever that song is, I can't sing it, but I promise next time she'll be a friend. What's the song?
Oh.
There you go. I was
If
thinking
ever
it.
fall in love,
There
yeah.
you go. I knew that my next relationship, we had to be homies. Like we have to be Ace Boone. Like you got to be my dog,
Crucial.
right?
Yeah.
And that is the best shit because it's so regular for me and Tiff to be watching basketball, which is like weird. Like relation, it's not commonplace, but
It's not.
but I go to the room and the game is already on because she's watching it. She ain't worried about me. You know what I mean? And it's like
That's cool.
I don't want to take that for granted because to me, that's our Netflix and chill for real. Like we're watching basketball. You know what I mean? But
My wife only watches Golden State playing. She
like
got caught
Steph?
up in the whole
crush.
Curry joint.
hold on. She got caught
I
up.
like
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's
feel some
dope.
type of way. I told her I'm the only light skinned nigga she's
Yeah, she
I
as
was
you
just listening to
should.
that episode. The other
Yeah,
day.
like, I stand by that, but
What was you saying, Kev?
Nah, that you acknowledge the small things that make the relationship 80%
Yeah.
of the relationship.
Yep.
And glorifying on those aspects and celebrating those moments and not letting those moments pass by because essentially like those are the like reminders of why the person that you are with is like ultimately like your person.
Yeah,
So,
and to be honest, y'all are a lot more senior than me in the relationship space with your current partners, your wives. And I'm closer to the ground, so I can remember what it's like to not have some of those things. So to appreciate little things like watching basketball or being considerate of or her knowing how picky I am with my food. You know how trying it is to explain to a new girl how picky you are?
Yes.
Bro, y'all know how picky I am with food. I
Yes.
don't eat a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So to get a woman to understand it and accept it, it's just like, well, I know what I can't cook. And it's just like, that alone is a body of work that, like, I appreciate. Like, that's fire. Those little itty-bitty things always make it so that, like, I like it here. It's pretty great.
That's the companionship, too.
Yeah. I mean, also, our favorite flowers is also important.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, then you start sweating on your back.
That's some smooth stuff. I'm gonna let you pick out your flowers, girl. Just pick out 11.
Yeah, she was
you the
trying.
12.
Yeah, like.
She was trying gangster.
Not pick out the 11.
Pick out 11 because you the 12.
Because you've been doing it. She know you've been doing
You're
it,
the
but she was just trying to gangster to make sure you was on point.
Yeah,
And
but
I respect that.
I ain't know.
You knew, but you ain't know what.
Why do I feel challenged right now? I feel like I gotta say like a smooth moment or something.
Yeah,
Because you're used to it. You've been doing it this whole. No, you always.
He always kills
Son,
me.
we could be talking about like, what's your favorite chocolate candy? Well, what Shonda's favorite is. Like, yo, we ain't even talking about your wife. You be sliding in like
Yo,
your wife
honestly,
isms. Cleveland, you a whole wifeism.
Who edits everything? I think it's just some type of dark skin battle these days, to be honest. Because he,
They've been waiting for that.
yeah, like, cause Cleveland does do that regularly, but then every once in a while, Var will try to nonchalantly say
The
some
last
hot
thing I
ass shit.
talked about was the candles. That was
Yeah.
like week
Yeah, 'cause we
3.
can't do every day.
Oh, he came doing the R&B. Oh, he killed us with that judge.
That was
I took advantage of that moment and I started applying that to our dinners. Like I haven't done it in the last 5, but I plan to reactivate that though.
it's fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even
man.
gonna attempt
That's
it
smooth.
because I have kids.
First of all,
And they
Ava
do
gonna blow it out.
Yeah. Who birthday? Like we not even. I'm not even gonna go there. They can't be home in order for me.
I get it.
But so we have okay. So is there any other aspect of being a good man that we want to speak about?
Follow through.
Follow through.
That's
Going to what
kinda
Kev said.
Yeah.
Right. Doing what you say.
Yeah.
Doing what you say you were going to do.
Yeah. Say what you mean what you say.
He said it better.
'Cause, you know, I think with that, you know, we place emphasis on leadership, and I know we're in a modern society and time where women and men are equal. I get all of that, but you know, I think if you're gonna establish yourself as a leader, if you call yourself a leader, then you have to establish high standards for your team, and you have to be able to, you know, lead. Leading is just action. You know, it's not verbal; it's action. So,
And there's different type of leaders, like you said. There's the Carmelo Anthony, like I lead by my action. And then there's like the vocal leaders, stuff like that. So like,
Right.
I could. Here's another thing about being a good man altogether is knowing who you are and staying in your lane, like knowing that role. Because don't try to be a leader because you think you're supposed to be and you're
That's
not.
the worst,
You're
bro.
terrible.
That's the
That's
worst.
the
it.
worst
Or
leader.
don't
Yeah,
try to
that's
do
that's
something.
destruction.
Yeah, that's not who you are. Like,
If you got like, to add to that, like if you call yourself a leader and you're weak, identify your weaknesses and try to get those together. You know, and
You
don't
gotta-
be vulnerable in that.
You gotta have your own visibility and so you know your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
They
correct.
have-
I mean, if y'all, all right, so y'all know my parents. Everybody know my mom is the A-type personality,
Right.
strong, like vocal leader. Let's just say that. And my dad be chilling, like reserved, but he knows he's the finance guy.
Right.
He's the one that keeps everything coordinated. He does what he does and stays in his lane.
Right.
So
But it's not to say that your dad is any less of a
correct.
man.
It's just this. He don't. That's not. I ain't good at that.
Sometimes
So
your best leadership is
is knowing.
knowing what you know.
Acceptance of
and
reality.
Or is it here's a perspective, or is it your dad may say like, she's better at being vocal than me.
Yeah,
not
correct.
to say that he's not vocal.
Yeah, he
She
might
drives,
not like it.
She drives the point home better than me.
Yeah.
sure.
And that's perfectly
If you
fine.
make it-
Correct.
Just knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing what you do well. And we're talking about marriage, we're talking about partnership. You have to play your strengths and you know, get better at your weaknesses, but allow other people to step in where you are weak at. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's the synergy that's ultimate.
Yeah, I like where we're going because I think your parents are a great case study because there are times where your partner may be perceived as having more male traits, right? Being more masculine.
Based off of the stereotypical role.
Right.
gender role.
Because if your partner is strong, if your partner is more feminine in every other area except for being vocal, like she's more vocal, but everything else she does all the things that you want in a feminine nature. People may look at you crazy. And that's like, how does that factor into being a good man? Knowing how to compliment your partner, how does that play into being a good man?
I'm related to sports, right? You know, you want to be on a winning championship team, then you got to play your role. You can't be no ego. You have to understand what the mission and the goal is for the team, and deliver to your best ability to contribute without overstepping the boundary of the objective. Now, same with a partnership. You know, like don't allow your ego to drive your relationship in a drunk road. You know, like don't be driving drunk in a relationship because you got an ego issue. You know what I'm saying? So like. Sometimes, you know, like listening is so important skill that people devalue, you know, and you don't need to know everything to be a leader. The best leaders don't know anything at all.
They know they don't know.
They know they don't know anything,
right.
you know, or they don't know
want to
this.
be the smartest nigga.
You don't want to be. So I think that more so, like, as a person who's struggling with like ego and leadership, you know, you have to like trust your partners, trust the people that you have next to you, trust your spouse. Trust that the fact that you guys are on the same mission, and allow her to step in where it's needed. You know, like allow her to be, just to contribute to her best magnitude by you giving her the green light to do that. You know, so
AJ, one word for a good man is what?
Understanding.
Okay, I like that. That's the word that we haven't used. I think understanding is also super important, and it's the foundation of everything. You have to make sure that you have a level playing field and understand that, like, she's mad right now. I'm going to the room.
You know, empathy is probably like the key cornerstone to like stretch to just to kind of connect. You know, like to understand your person. If you could be more empathetic to your person, and I know people like struggle with empathy because it's like it's a big word. It's I feel you. That's what empathy is.
I was gonna say we got to define it because people kind of conflate sympathy and empathy.
Sympathy is like, man, I get it, bro. I think I could
feel
get
bad
myself
for
out of
you.
that.
Right.
Like I think I could see myself doing that, and I feel for you gonna have me to go do that personally.
Good luck, bro.
But I haven't like allowed myself to be within your emotion. I haven't allowed myself to feel your pain and in relating your pain to a tragic pain that I've experienced that's similar in its own way, but not just the same, right? That's empathy, right? So like
empathy is putting yourself in that person's shoes.
Like understanding where that person is at and placing yourself at a different level, but understanding that what that person is going through. That's going to be the cornerstone to just, you know, building a solid relationship with your spouse, with your partner, with your friends, people that you care about, you love, that you want to like continue to grow with.
So as we exit this topic, what do we think is going to be the most transformative part of this conversation? What do we want people to know about what a quote-unquote good man is?
I'm gonna let it, because I want someone else to go, but I want to speak to the women first, and then I want to come to the man.
Not cook.
Yeah, for sure. So like for the women, understand like what you prefer, what you want, and what you need.
Have a list. Have
today
a table.
Is not the same what you're gonna want and need and have and want tomorrow. You know, so you know, be open-minded to the growth of a person. Don't tolerate no bullshit, right? Don't subject yourself to low quality. But understand that people are people. People are meant to grow and change. And for the men, I say, you know, like don't be so hard on yourself to be perfect. It's not that serious. Being perfect means allowing people to help you. And if you want to be perfect, allow your imperfections to shine and to transpire in a way where like people around you can see it and help you grow in that way.
Yeah, I love it. Zoe, how about you?
I would say for the women and the list, just be realistic. Like look at your list and like really look at it if you have one and say like, is this like a made up individual or like
what's the joint that Cleveland said? What was it?
Standards versus preferences.
And then the nice to have.
And then nice to have. I think that's the best way to put it. Do your little T chart, your three columns, write your little request for each, and then also I think with the don't be so fixated because a lot of lists always start with money. So I would say money can be gained and it can be lost. So that is neither here nor there. A person could get in a car accident and win $1 million. They could also be a CEO and then one bad tweet and they done.
Right.
So how about that shouldn't even really be on the list. Get to know the person first and all that stuff will come out You know what I mean? But I think be realistic with your list, because some stuff is not realistic, and make sure your table that you have one, or that it's on all four legs, is stable before you start asking people to do stuff and put stuff on your table. For the men, put up or shut up. Like, don't, like, you gotta follow through.
Right.
All that talk, rah, rah stuff is, listen, man. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. If you're not, then don't even recommend it.
Right.
If you don't say stuff just to be nice,
Right.
or just to say, because then you're gonna box yourself in the corner and you're gonna write a check your ass can't cash. So how about just not doing it anyway? And then, bang that loyalty.
For me, on the women's side, I would say you can't build a man, right? You cannot build a man. So have your criteria, have your rubric, so to speak, but make sure that person compliments you, but don't try to go for perfection. Perfection is unattainable, it's not sustainable, it's not going to work. For the men, I would say be patient, because I said this before, if you feel like you're a guy that doesn't really have the edge, quote unquote, chill, bro, in 5 years you're going to want you. If you're the guy who is trying to do these things and has the edge, and girls like you, figure out a way how to become a husband, or work on those husbandly traits, because that's going to, running through these joints is going to be cool for now, but you're going to want some sustainability and some soul food, so to speak, going forward. So make sure you have that balance. Yeah.
For women, I would say just be realistic with your list, back to the standards and the preferences. I would also say look for compliments to who you are as a woman. Like, look for, if you're excellent at something, you don't necessarily need someone else who's excellent at that. Maybe you just need someone who is competent in what you're excellent at, and then you can be excellent and they can be competent, and it still works well. Vice versa. I think for men, I think it's important to start internally in terms of being good. Like, I think it's important for men to stop looking at outside external things to qualify them as being good. The amount of money you make, the amount of car you drive, the kind of car you drive.
I drive a whole
the kind of the job that you have. All of those are external factors. Start inside. Like, start with your character, and then those external things will happen. So
monetary, tangible stuff.
Yeah, start with the inner work, and then you'll be a good man. The external stuff comes with the internal work, basically.
Okay, he's excellent.
I love it. Anything else here? We good?
I think we good.
Yeah, man. Look, this is a fire first episode in person. We got to make this. I don't know how quarterly.
We got to figure it out, man.
That's the thing. It is. You already know I was on it. I was on it. I'm on it. Hopefully you all took some knowledge about what we think a good man is. If you didn't, we don't give a fuck. Somebody gonna like it. That was it. I don't know.
And don't let Kev confuse y'all women. You need to pay something. Right? Put up something. Do something. Bill, light bill, something. Put something in your name. That's all I'm saying.
And also, Alonzo wants you to know who pays the light bill. When you flick that light on, it doesn't happen by accident.
You can tell who pays the light bill by who comes in the house and say, why the hell all these damn lights on?
Right. That's
the person. It could be the man, it could be the woman, whatever. But whoever comments on the lights is the person who pays it. Because everybody else act like it's just free electricity.
When you walk in the house, it's maybe 80 degrees outside. Humidity ain't crazy. The AC on. My man.
Open the window.
Open the windows.
Oh, you already. I got stories for days.
Let that ceiling.
We're not gonna talk about my dad.
Shout out to Money Mitch.
Yeah.
Shout out to Money
Julius.
Mitch.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so bring us home with the Serenity Prayer.
Yeah, so we're going to ask God to grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, not by making a man, building one, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two.
Amen.
And with that said, we'll see you on the episode 40 next week. And that has been it for the Juxtaposition Podcast this week.
Peace.
Have a good week.
Peace.
Where our tunes at?
Hey.